Is real estate a good investment? I think my answer might shock you. Hey, I'm Noah with the Heritage Group at Central Florida Magnolia, and today we're talking about, is real estate a good investment? And my answer is probably not. Depending on your circumstances, really, real estate is not the right investment unless you're set up for it. Now, with that said, if you are set up for it, it can be one of the best investments you ever make. Now, it's definitely a hot topic. We see all types of real estate investment, from wholesaling to buy and hold to flipping to a million different options that you can do within it, Airbnb, etc. So I think number one is real estate a good investment? What type of real estate are you considering, right? Are you looking to be a wholesaler? Are you looking to be a flipper? Are you looking to be an Airbnb holder? Or is it long-term rentals? Is it apartment complexes? It depends. And depending on which scope of work you're interested in is going to dictate, is that a good investment, right? Because, for instance, we sold an Airbnb to a guy who didn't have a plan, and that Airbnb has made pretty much the same as a long-term rental would have, right? It's been vacant majority of the year, and the pricing is wrong. We don't personally manage it. It's sourced out to, he self-manages. That investment is not a good investment in my book. They could have taken the same $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, put it into a different fund with an aggressive growth, and received a higher return on investment in the last 2 years with the growth of the stock market. But that's hindsight. We don't know that in the timeline of when it's purchased. So depending on how you're savvy with Airbnbs can be a fantastic investment. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can be the worst investment you make. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a real estate investment. Number two is going to be, what does your financial situation look like? Real estate, in my opinion, is not a game that low cash strapped people should get into. Real estate can be detrimental. Buying a rental, even if you do it with house hacking, which is you buy at FHA, you have a duplex, you rent out one side and then you occupy the other side and only have to pay 3.5% down. It's a great idea, right? Except for what happens if that tenant destroys the other side and you have $1,000 in your bank account. You don't have 10 grand to go fix it up, and if you do, it's going to take you longer to recoup that on the rental side. So I recommend having a nice cash flow or a nice cash reserve for the property. My recommendation is usually per property 10 to 15,000. If you're north of that, chances are it could be a pretty strong investment. But if you're strapped with cash and struggling to take care of what you already have, it's probably better to just be a tenant and let a landlord deal with the bigger project, and then work your way down the line into that situation. Another thing to consider when looking at, is real estate a good investment, is going to be, what's your mindset on it, right? Are you looking for mailbox money? Because if that's the case, real estate is absolutely the worst investment. It is not mailbox money on a small scale. Now, 1,000 properties, you have managers, you have teams underneath you. Absolutely, it's mailbox money. You could sit on the beach all day and collect checks, as long as you have a great team behind you and have the ability to manage personnel. But if you're starting out 1, 2, 3 rentals, you're going to spend a lot of time with those tenants, especially if you self-manage. And if you don't self-manage, you have to make sure that you buy an asset with the proper margins to hire a management company. So things like that are all things to consider. My overall perspective on real estate is, it's good if you want to be a homeowner. It's great if you want to have it as an asset within your personal wealth. But if you're looking for investments, it's not always the right answer. Oftentimes there's things like businesses. There's a ton of baby boomers retiring where you can buy a business relatively cheap. There's stock market plays. There's a ton of different options out there in the market. That real estate does not need to be the sexy HGTV investment on your books, but rather something you jump into when you feel more financially sound and looking to diversify. Or if you do love real estate and you're have an aggressive mindset, there is opportunity there. It's just having to be strategic. So most people, it's probably a bad investment, but for those select few, it can be the best investment you ever make.